Welcome back, ocean explorers, to this week's Deep Water Forge Global Dive. The explorer fleets have returned, the rankings have been updated, and this week, we have a race on our hands. Several new countries have broken into the global dive this week, while some of our familiar contenders are still fighting to stay in the race. Others, however, have fallen out of the top 10 altogether. There are fleets climbing, fleets defending their positions, and new challengers arriving with something to prove. So this week, we're treating the global dive like a sporting event. 10 explorer fleets, one race, and every country is fighting for its place on the leaderboard. Who are the newcomers? Which of our regular contenders are still in the race? And who has been forced out of the top 10? Let's find out as we reveal this week's global dive erd. At number 10 this week is Canada, with 28 ocean explorers. Canada enters the global dive at the very bottom of the top 10, but don't let that fool you. This is the starting line, not the finish line. With 28 explorers aboard, Canada has secured the final position in the fleet, but there will be plenty of countries watching closely from behind. The Canadian expedition has made it into the competition. Now the challenge is simple. Can they defend their position and climb the table next week? For now, Canada holds the final place in the top 10. At number 9 is Mexico, with 35 ocean explorers. Mexico has had a difficult week. Last time out, the Mexican fleet was sitting at number 7, with 53 explorers. This week, that has fallen to 35, dropping Mexico 2 places to 9th. But this is where the battle gets interesting. Mexico is still safely inside the top 10, and with only 7 explorers separating them from Canada, the pressure is beginning to build. The Mexican fleet has lost ground this week, but they're still in the race, and there is plenty of time to fight their way back up the table. At number 8 this week, making its first appearance in the global dive, is Australia, with 72 ocean explorers. And what an entrance! Australia doesn't simply join the competition, they arrive straight into 8th place. A brand new fleet has entered the table with 72 explorers already aboard, immediately putting pressure on the countries above and below them. Australia now has a target in front of them. There are only 48 explorers between them and the United Kingdom in 3rd place. Of course, that's a much bigger climb, but that's what makes this a competition. Australia has arrived. Now let's see how far this fleet can travel. At number 7 this week is the Philippines, with 120 ocean explorers. And the Philippine fleet is moving in the right direction. Last week, they finished with 70 explorers. This week, they've gained another 50, bringing them to 120. But here's the interesting part. Despite that huge increase, the Philippines has only moved into 7th place because the fleets around them are moving just as quickly. They've gained ground, but so has everyone else. The Philippines is now only 5 explorers behind Vietnam. That means 6th place is very much within reach. The question is whether they can make the next move before the fleet returns next Sunday. At number 6 this week is Vietnam, with 125 ocean explorers. Vietnam has had a small setback. Last week, they were sitting at number 2 with 39 explorers. This week, they've slipped to 125 and fallen 4 places to 6th. But this isn't a collapse. Vietnam has only lost 14 explorers. The real problem is that the fleets around them have accelerated. The Philippines is now just 5 explorers behind. Bangladesh is only 6 ahead. Vietnam is surrounded. The fleet is under pressure from both directions, but with 125 explorers still aboard, this expedition is far from finished. Vietnam may have fallen down the table, but they are still very much in the battle. At number 5 this week is Bangladesh, with 131 ocean explorers. And Bangladesh is one of the big winners of this week's battle. Last week they had 67 explorers and were sitting at number 6. This week they've almost doubled that number, 31 explorers. That's an increase of 64, and that has pushed Bangladesh up another position into 5th. But now they've got a very interesting target ahead. Indonesia is sitting at 143. That's only 12 explorers away. So Bangladesh isn't just defending 5th place, they're now looking up the table. The next target is 4th. At number 4 this week is Indonesia, with 43 ocean explorers. Indonesia has had a steady week. Last week, the Indonesian fleet had 38 explorers and held 4th place. This week, they've added another 5. It isn't a huge increase, but it has been enough to keep them exactly where they were. And now, the pressure is starting to build. Bangladesh is just 12 explorers behind, while ahead of them, the United Kingdom has opened up a 28-explorer gap. So Indonesia finds itself right in the middle of the battle, close enough to challenge the fleets ahead, but with another fleet closing in from behind. For now, the Indonesian fleet holds fourth, but with the race tightening, how long can they stay there? At number 3 this week, making a spectacular entrance into the global dive is the United Kingdom with 71 ocean explorers. And what an arrival. The United Kingdom wasn't even in last week's top 10. Now they're sitting directly on the podium. 71 explorers have joined the British fleet, sending them straight into 3rd place. But the really interesting part is what's ahead. The United States is sitting at 251, that's 80 explorers away. And behind them, Indonesia is only 28 explorers back. So the United Kingdom has arrived on the podium, but they've got competitors coming from both directions. Can they hold 3rd? Can they challenge the United States? One thing is certain, the British fleet has made its entrance. At number 2 this week is the United States with 251 ocean explorers. And the American fleet has absolutely exploded up the table. Last week, the United States had just 70 explorers and sat in 4th place. This week, that's an increase of 18 ocean explorers. And that sends the United States charging from 4th place to 2nd. But now comes the biggest challenge of all, because there is only one fleet standing between the United States and the championship, India. The gap is currently 49 explorers. That's a big lead. But the United States has already shown just how quickly an expedition can grow in a single week. The American fleet is charging. India is going to have to defend the crown. At number 1 this week, and still sitting proudly at the top of the global dive, is India, with an incredible 400 ocean explorers. India isn't just defending the championship, they're absolutely smashing it. Last week, India had 220 explorers. This week, that's another 180 ocean explorers joining the fleet. India has almost doubled its expedition in just 1 week, and that gives them a very impressive lead at the top of the table. But there is now a new challenger. The United States has surged into 2nd place with 251. The American fleet is coming, and although India currently has a 49 explorer advantage, we've already seen how quickly these rankings can change. So for this week, India remains the champion. The crown stays with India, but the United States is on the attack. And there we have it. The battle of the explorer fleets has produced another dramatic week. India remains firmly at the top with an incredible 400 ocean explorers defending the crown. But the United States is charged from 4th to 2nd and is now the closest challenger to the leader. And then there's the United Kingdom, straight onto the podium in its very first appearance. Behind them, Bangladesh is climbing rapidly, while Vietnam and the Philippines are locked into a close battle for position. Australia has entered the fleet, Canada has taken the final place in the top 10, and Mexico is fighting to regain the ground it lost this week. But this is only 1 week's result. The fleets will continue to move, new explorers will join, positions will change, and next Sunday we'll see whether India can defend the crown or whether one of the challenger fleets can finally catch them. Until then, keep exploring, and we'll see you on the next global dive.